Hi, my name's Gillian and I'm a nutritionist with Food Standards Australia New Zealand, or FSANZ. The other day I was having breakfast with my mum, and knowing that I work at FSANZ, she asked me how she can find out how long a food that's been in a carton is safe to eat. She was eating breakfast cereal and she thought it didn't sound fresh, you know how it normally sounds crispy when you pour it into the bowl. So how do I know it's fresh? She wanted to know. So I was telling her, well Mum, the people who make the breakfast cereal, they have to stamp each packet with a date to tell you when it's no longer safe to eat. With fresh food, it's called a use by date. Shops aren't allowed to sell food after their use by date for safety reasons. If it has a use by date, you should throw the food away after that date. With longer lasting packaged food, it's called the best before date. If it has a best before date, it's probably safe to eat after that date, but it won't be at its best. So it's FSANZ that takes care of the Food Standards Code, which is where you can find out about use by dates and other labelling issues. At FSANZ, we get a lot of people asking us about food labels. Some of our consumer research shows that 2/3 of shoppers always read the food labels and are very interested in food label information. Labels are put on most foods to provide important information for shoppers. Apart from telling you how the food will keep, they tell you what's in it and what substances it contains that may affect you if you have special dietary needs or an allergy. Also, food labels give shoppers the information they need to be able to compare foods to find the one they want. Some of the things on food labels have to be there because of the Food Standards Code. Others are optional, meaning the manufacturers can choose to put them on the packaging because they think it'll give them a commercial advantage over a competitor's food. So to start, I'm going to tell you about the parts of the labels that are required to be there. We'll use this carton of yogurt as an example. The first thing you'll probably notice is the name, which tells you what the food is. The label must also show the name and the address of the supplier and what's known as the lot identification. This is in case there's a food safety issue and you want to contact the manufacturer. It also allows the food to be traced quickly if it needs to be recalled because it contains something that it shouldn't, like a piece of plastic. Which reminds me, when I was little, the cereal makers used to put plastic parts deliberately into the packets in the form of toys. You don't get that so much anymore. Never mind. The next thing that's useful here is the top of the carton, the date marking, which so interested my mum. So not all foods have a date mark. Some foods, such as a can of baked beans, may not need a best before date if it has a shelf life of over 2 years. Other useful information tells you how to store the food so it'll keep till its best before date. For example, it might say keep refrigerated between 0 and 4 degrees centigrade, so you should do that. Also, you should follow any cooking or storage instructions the manufacturer has put on the label. Somewhere on the label must be listed any allergens which are in the food, such as eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish, fish, wheat, sesame, soy, and milk. Some manufacturers now put them in bold to make it even clearer. Next, here on the side of the package is the ingredients list, which tells you what else is in the food besides the milk and the fruit. Still no toys though. These other ingredients may include additives, like preservatives, but only if they're permitted in the Food Standards Code. If the food does contain any additives, they'll be listed either by their name or their number. The FSANZ website contains a list of all of the food additives and their numbers. From this list, you can work out what the additives are and why they're there. This yogurt also has information about where it was made. This information will be on the label of most foods. Also, the label must list the energy and the amounts of certain nutrients, such as the fat, sugar, and sodium in the food. This is in the Nutrition Information Panel. You can see that the amounts are listed either by per serving or per 100 grams, or millilitres for a liquid food. The amounts vary because the manufacturer decides what serving size to use, and understandably this often differs between foods or brands. If you're using the Nutrition Information Panel to choose between different foods, you should use the per 100 grams list so you can compare them. There's a lot of information on food these days, and some people don't bother with it, but it's all there for a good reason, so I encourage you to take the time to read it, especially now you know what it means. I hope this has been helpful for you. If there's anything else you'd like to know about food labelling, please visit our website, which is www.foodstandards.gov.au. Thanks for your company. I hope we can talk again soon.